Isn't it funny how the soul never wants to leave the body? This is what the highest told Daikon as they both stood there watching Oliver bleed out and watched how Lacey was pleading for her life. And we found out the only reason that Lacey is still alive is because the highest said that Elder Mother wanted her. He made sure to let her know that he is the Raku and she will learn to worship him. And this is exactly what Elder Mother plans to do with her in the grooming process. He also let her know that she's going to be doused with 100% alcohol in her wounds as punishment. She didn't want them to leave her inside the trailer with Oliver inside of her, but they didn't care. They just walked away. And what was really interesting about this scene to me is Daikon just stood there as if this is normal. And for them, it kind of is. But it was just a little disturbing that they were just talking and, having a whole conversation as if there wasn't a dead man lying right there in front of them, killed by the highest. And it's just disturbing, to say the least. And I also just want to point out the acting ability from Matt Cedeno and Lenny Thomas. These two guys right here, oh my gosh, if you see them in real life, you'll know that they're nothing like these characters at all. So all in all, you just know that they're bringing everything that they have to the platform. So when they left the trailer, Daikon had to let the highest know that they cannot find Andrew. He told him that Andrew was armed, and he basically wanted the highest to go to his trailer and hide out and eat dinner while they look for him. And the highest told him, don't placate me as if I'm a child. The highest thinks that he's done a good job with converting Andrew, and he doesn't think that Andrew's going to hurt him. The highest said that his cleansing game is real strong, and he's confident that he's already converted Andrew, so he's not worried. But he did decide to go to his trailer and have dinner. So in our next scene, Andrew came back to the trailer to check on Brian and Lynn, but at least Andrew came in with a plan. He came in to let them know that if anybody were to come into the trailer, that they're to overtake them and just take them out one by one, as opposed to going outside of the trailer and then having to deal with everybody. And Andrew pretty much told them to stay put, work through the plan, and that he'd be back, which sounded okay, but we know that's not going to go that way. But that was better than, tackling the whole Raku camp on their own. But when Andrew left, Lynn told Brian that she's going to just leave. She's just going to take off and leave. And of course, Brian told her not to do that. And here in this scene, let me just say that Brian still cares for his wife. He still loves her, even though he knows that she has a problem, clearly. And she, just sucked Daikon off right in front of him. But, he's still showing his concern for her. But Lynn doesn't care. All she wants is the dope, right? In our next scene, we have River telling Zane how peaceful and normal everything seems to be that night. And Zane said, there's nothing peaceful or normal about this place, nothing at all. And he was asking her about if she went to the store. And I think this is when, on the last episode, 11 or 12, when they were talking about Zane going to the store to get the pregnancy test, I think. And I think they also had a conversation about her getting revenge on Manny. And he told her that maybe she should just take Ruth's advice. And she told him, look, I'm nothing like Ruth. Ruth uses her body to get what she wants, basically prostituting herself out. Then she told River that he's just like Ruth and that she thought that he liked girls. Then he had to correct her. He said, no, I like power. So this scene is very telling because it's letting us know that he's saying he's not really gay. He just wants the power, and he knows that getting the power means sleeping with the highest, right? What do you guys think about that? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. But in our next scene, we see Zane going into the kitchen with Elder Mother, and she told Zane to come closer. Come closer. And then she slapped the crap out of her. She slapped Zane and told Zane that she slapped her because she came into the punishment trailer. Then she wanted to know why she came into the punishment trailer. And Zane told her that, when she found out that they had her hemmed up in the trailer, that she had to come and check on her because, she cares about her so much. Then Elder Mother tried to give her some ice cream. And then Zane was like, she was hesitant because she's thinking, that Elder Mother's trying to poison her. And Elder Mother told her, yeah, I could poison you, but today's a good day. I'm not going to poison you. I'm giving you a treat because you did come to check on me. And then she told Zane that Zane was like the daughter that she never had. Zane then asked her if she had any children. She told Zane that her children were dead to her. So she doesn't have any children. She said that her children did not want to follow the way of the raccoon, and they thought that she was crazy. And they tried to have her put away into an insane asylum. So her children are dead to her, and Zane is like the daughter she never had. Her words, not mine. So then we move back to the trailer with Brian and Lynn. And Lynn is so desperate to get out of this trailer. Listen, Lynn walking around that compound with the girls jiggling, the tummy on flat, and she's ready for this role. Like, there is no way that I would be comfortable walking around with a bathing suit on or panties and a bra and just a navel ring. I couldn't do it, even if my body fit the part like hers does. I mean, she looks great. She looks really good. I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be so self-conscious. Like, I don't know, but she looks great. She did a really good job. But Brian tried to stop her, but of course it's hard-headed Lynn. She went out there anyway, and dumb Brian went right after her. And she wants Brian to leave her so bad. Like, I've never made sense of that scene, that they had in their house when she wanted him to leave her. I just never made sense of that. And I still don't understand why she wants this man to leave her. Brian's a good guy. I mean, even when Andrew came back to the trailer, he was trying to get them armed up. He was like, hey, can you shoot? Are you able to shoot with Brian's nub fingers? Those 2 fingers he got left, he can pull a trigger still. So he was trying to get them suited for battle, right? And get them ready, but Lynn does not want to listen. She doesn't even want to stay in place. So we're going to see what happens. So Ruth made it to the kitchen to see what was taking Elder Mother so long with getting the highest food ready. So she was standing around waiting for the plate, and Elder Mother said, why are you standing around? You just want to see what I'm going to put in his food. Then Ruth said, what if something happens to you? And the way that she said that, it was as if she had something planned for Elder Mother. Not in a good way. So she said, what if something happens to you? You're getting up in age and somebody else needs to know how to prepare his food. And Elder Mother was like, no, I'm not telling you what I do to prepare for his food. I'm not telling you what I put in it. None of that. And Elder Mother takes such pride in preparing his food. She knows that the highest won't eat anyone else's cooking but hers. So she takes a lot of pride in that. But then Ruth said, well, we'll just have to see about that. I'm going to make sure that at least someone else knows how to cook his food. I'm going to be his wife soon, so I'm going to make sure that happens. Not if you're not pregnant. Elder Mother's making sure that Ruth doesn't forget about that baby that she's supposed to be carrying for the highest. And which is really interesting to me because I thought they already got married, right? Didn't they get married the first half of season 3? I don't know. I know they made the announcement. I'll have to go back to look at my own reviews just to figure out and remember what happened. But I thought they had already gotten married. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. So then Daikon came into the trailer to, again, see what's taking Elder Mother so long. And she told him that it wouldn't take her a long time if Ruth weren't standing over her shoulder giving her a hard time. So she told Daikon that she's in there because someone else needs to know how to prepare his food. But Daikon was like, get out of here. So he made Ruth leave the trailer. Then when Ruth left the trailer, Daikon was asking Elder Mother if she had seen Andrew. And she was like, well, what's the matter? You can't keep up with your own soldiers? And of course, they went back and forth with their usual banter. Then before he left, he called her an old woman. And then she said, lack, as she was looking down below his waist, like as if he's lacking down there. Right? But from what we've seen in the trailer, no, man. Daikon ain't lacking. Far from it. But I don't know, maybe she's just teasing him. So in our next scene, we know that Daikon is madly in love with Ruth. He can't help it. He's so in love with her to the point to where he has to fight the feelings for her. He has to fight the feelings because if he doesn't, then he's just going to be all over the place with her and it's going to start showing. So he walked over to her and told her that she slept with him just to get to the highest. And this is somewhat true because she really wanted to get close to the power. And she thought that if she slept with Daikon, that would be enough. But it was actually River who told her, look, you're sleeping with the help. Why not go for the gusto? You can sleep with the highest. I'm going to put it in his ear that he should take on a wife. And of course, Ruth just happened to be right there. And I just think that this character, it had a lot to do with her self-worth. She didn't think that she was good enough to be in that space with the highest and in bed with him. But little did she know, and that's exactly how this is all turning out. He threatened to tell the highest about their love affair in hopes that the highest would punish Ruth and not him. But then Ruth told him, well, what if he punishes you and not me? Or what if he punishes you first? He told Ruth to look into his eyes because people tell him that his eyes are like a cat. He told her that he would stalk her and then wait till the right moment to attack her. Then he told her that he will gut her from her gussy to her throat. Really, Daikon? Like he hates her, right? He loves her so much that he's got to turn it, he's got to flip it upside down just so that his true feelings won't show for her. Poor guy, he doesn't know what to do. Then Ruth told him that she loves him. Then he said, F you, and then he walked off. And I think that this is quite the turning point for these two characters and their love affair, because Ruth's charm, it's wearing off. Like, she wasn't able to turn him back around in that moment when she said, I loved you, because he walked off and then he gave her the F-bomb, right? So this just may be a turning point in their love affair, and things may be turning around for the worst for Ruth. Then when he left, up pops River. River is always around a corner, behind a bush, he's just coming from anywhere. But anyway, he popped up, and then he told Ruth that conversation that she just had with Daikon was intense, right? And Ruth is basically letting him know that she's handling the highest and Daikon, and asked River if he had a better idea. Better than what she was doing, because if not, he needs to shut the F up. She told River that Andrew is missing and still on the run. She let him know that he's an FBI agent. She thinks that Andrew is gonna go and round up a whole team of people, then come back to the compound to try to release everybody. And River says that if that happens, that they're all dead. And he wanted to know why she hasn't told the highest yet. And she said, but she's waiting until after he eats his food, because we know that Elder Mother has to sprinkle some juju on top of that Waffle House plate. Otherwise, he's gonna be crazier than he's ever been. And River says all they need to do is get the highest to the bank. That's it, and that's all. And then right before River took off, he said that he's gonna show Ruth who he really is, or something to that effect. And remember, all this time we've been wondering who River is, where he came from, why is he so important in this series, and now he brings it up again. I'm going to show you who I really am. So do we really know who River is? We know that he really doesn't hold any power or any clout of any sort. So, it's going to be interesting to see if he holds an entirely different role than what we all expected. So then in our next scene here, we see Andrew going to check on Malcolm. Now listen, Malcolm has been drugged in and out of that cooler. He's been beat up, all of that. But that hair ain't moved. Malcolm's hair has not moved out of place, not one time. So Andrew pulled him from the freezer, and Malcolm told him, look, I can't feel my toes, I can't feel my feet, everything is numb. So when he told him this, Andrew pulled something from that robe. I don't know, maybe the robe got pockets now, but he pulled a syringe from the robe, and in that syringe was adrenaline. So he poked Malcolm right in the chest with the adrenaline shot. And Malcolm thought that he was trying to kill him. I really like this scene, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it really showed who Andrew really is for real. Even though Malcolm has ratted him out, told everybody that he was an FBI agent, Malcolm has slept with his wife, Malcolm done talked all kinds of ish to this man, from the beginning of when he first found out about the affair. But through all of that, Andrew still has a heart to go and check on him, pull him from the freezer, give him an adrenaline shot, and just basically made sure that he was straight before he went on his journey to freedom. That says a lot about Andrew, right? Because at the end of the day, he's gonna do the right thing. He doesn't want anybody to lose their life, not even Malcolm. So right before Andrew left, he told Malcolm that he was gonna go and round up some guns from the children's trailer. And why did he tell him this? There is no way that I would even trust Malcolm. I mean, even though, he's trying to save his life and do the right thing, but I wouldn't trust him. He's giving him information that no one should know. If you're going to get guns from the children's trailer, just go on and get them, because now, if you're dealing with someone that you really can't trust here, right? You're both FBI agents and he ratted you out like yesterday, right? So why would you tell him what your next move is? He gave Malcolm a gun. He told him to hide underneath the bus and to just fight for himself, because he really can't do anything for him at this point. He's got to go. Then he left. Daikon is still on a mad hunt for Andrew. And when he found out that Manny and the other soldier had not found him yet, he kicked him. He kicked him right down to the ground. Look, he's got a lot of aggression tonight, and he has to find Andrew if it's the last thing that he does. And right at the end of this scene, it looks like he's got an idea as to where Andrew could be, so they took off. And Brian and Lynn were not far behind. They were hiding behind the trailer, and they took off running behind them. And in the meantime, Elder Mother finally got the plate to the highest. Elder Mother told him that she was going to wait on the porch until he finished eating, I guess so that she can take his plate back to the kitchen. And he said, well, no, you won't. He let her know that he had a gift for her, and the gift was keeping Lacey alive. And that was his way of saying that he was sorry for keeping her in the punishment trailer. And he was somewhat apologetic, and Elder Mother was like, oh no, Your Highness, you can do no wrong. And he said, well, I know, but I can show empathy. And I'm sitting here like, show empathy? Are you serious? You're a murderer, an abuser. You kill people, sir. Yeah, and you have empathy? Where? When? Jeez, I don't know. This man is crazy. Then Daikon and Manny and the other soldier went to the cooler, and they saw that Malcolm was now gone. He told them to make sure that none of the keys to any of the vehicles were laying around the compound. He said that he knows what Andrew is doing and that he needs to be very, very careful. Then he went to the trailer to check on Brian and Lynn, and he noticed that they too were also gone. So everybody's missing at this point, and he can't keep track of everything. So he's very, very frustrated at this point. And now they not only have to find Andrew, but they also have to find Malcolm, Lynn, and Brian. So now Daikon knows that it's time to declare war. And this is basically giving us a lot of insight on the core of Daikon. We see that he's an emotional person. We see that he has a lot of power, but no control, if that makes sense. He's not in control of the situations. Things are just going awry. And with he being second in command to the highest, I don't know. It's showing that he's not as strong of a leader as we all thought that he was. And if that wasn't enough, one of the soldiers came back and told Daikon that there's a black van at the gate. So Daikon's got a lot to deal with right in this moment. Things are just falling apart right in front of him. Then Manny came back and told him it's not only just the van, but there are cars too. And I don't know, I think he's trying his best not to involve the highest as much as possible, but he needs to tell somebody something because he's not handling things too well. Things are, falling apart quickly, but he wants to handle everything. So he told everyone, all the Raccoon members, to get inside so that they could prepare for war. So in our next scene, River stopped by to check on the highest. And the highest told him that he gets so happy after eating Elder Mother's food. And at this point, again, the highest doesn't know that his food is being drugged. And this is why he's feeling so good all the time. And this is why no one else can prepare his food, because no one else is supposed to know that she's drugging the food. But of course, Ruth knows. And she knows that she knows, but they can't tell anybody that. River wanted to know if he was in the mood to watch movies, and he said no, not tonight. Then Daikon came to the door. So Daikon finally got the balls to go in and tell the highest what was going on. He told him that they still hadn't found Andrew and that there was a black car at the gate. And of course, the highest wants to know who's at the gate. He wants to know if it's the government. And Daikon told him that he doesn't know, but the men know what to do. And the highest is like, well, yeah, they know what to do. They've let Andrew get away, right? But you're telling me they know what to do. And he had a point there. So the highest walked over to the edge of his bed and he pulled out the AK-47s. Okay. So while Daikon is trying to get everyone to go back into their trailers, Joan ran out and tried to tell him something, but he didn't want to hear it. He told her to go back to her trailer as well. Then River went into the finance trailer to tell Joan that someone was at the gate. And all River wants to know is how much money we got on hand, how much we got right here on the compound. And Joan told him, well, it's just pennies. It's barely anything. River wants to take all the money and run. And I'm thinking, run where? River, like, where are you going to run to? Because as soon as you take off, you're going to have 60 guards behind you with guns, right? Ready to just shoot you in the back and then take the money back. So what sense does that make? Joan told him to just be patient because they go to the bank as early as the morning. Then Joan asked him, what do we do now? And he said to stay low, because I guess a lot of shooting was about to go on outside. And what's really troubling me on this is that Joan and Ruth are looking to River for direction. Because from the very beginning, he's been spearheading and quarterbacking this entire play with trying to get money from the highest. And they're looking to this kid to basically direct them out of there, with the money. I don't know. It's just, River is not wrapped too tight to be taking any direction from. So I don't know what to expect from this one. So in our final scene, we see the black van pulling up to the gate. The heavily guarded gate, might I add. And then that ended the scene. So thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Ruthless TV. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Ruthless, go ahead and sub to the channel because I do video breakdowns like this all the time. Thanks once again, you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.